a lightsaber all at the same time. Yeah. So he's waving it around going...
Oh, gotcha. That's looking good. How do you deal with lakes that are peggy?
You like a bit of pegging, don't you?
Anyway, I played this fish gingerly for I don't know how long, like a long time.
Is this a long story?
No, don't worry, I'll get there.
Spooner's not having any of this.
Right, I'm all for glamorising a story, but you're saying it's in December and no one's caught for weeks.
They hadn't caught for weeks. It was
it's
freezing.
October on frying in. No one's
Hold on,
had a bite.
I didn't say 2 months. How do you guys personally deal with long runs of blanks? Tom? This is perfect for you.
I'll get on a podcast, tell everyone about it, and get loads of abuse.
No.
You're talking about mad rigs and people losing their heads.
Yeah.
Just a couple of people just popped in my head.
Yeah. Amazing.
I'll get a bite live on the podcast.
I think it would be the most viral fishing video ever put out there.
Thinking Tackle Podcast.
Might be able to grow a beard by then.
He has got a Raspberry ticket this year.
Wow,
true.
good chance. Well,
So
I know
there's
he's
three or
catch
four
one.
in
I went
there.
with Tom once and he caught one.
Yeah, true. The one time,
That's true.
he has caught one,
Yeah.
you were there.
I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long are you there for?
A day. Literally a day. You caught 13, I think, and a 50. So it's quite a good day.
Yeah.
Those were the days
That
when I
was-
used to catch.
Yeah, do you remember that? That's probably the last time you caught, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was last time
Yeah.
I had one. When was it? July.
The trouble is now you need to nick one soon because otherwise, if you have one in like 3 or 4 weeks' time, everyone's just going to spring, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're going to
everyone's
catch you and
catching.
cast
Yeah, of course
backwards.
you are. Spring.
Clubbing season.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I don't really think I think it's getting a little bit out of hand. I'm not catching anything. I had a bad week last week.
Yeah.
Lost to you at golf.
Yeah, you did.
Which was
That's brilliant. It's really bad, isn't it?
Disturbed me for a few nights.
Yeah.
But the fishing, I haven't actually done loads and loads of it the last couple of weeks. We were filming last week, and then I was in the Philippines the week before, so I haven't had a big chance to a redemption. I don't think.
Okay.
But
I
it's
haven't
coming.
fished a lake with a 50, but you still bring it up every
yes,
week.
you have fished a lake with 50.
No, since we've been talking about it.
Oh right.
I've literally done 2 nights on a lake with a 50.
Yeah, well that's enough.
You've been fishing and still not caught,
Yeah,
so
okay.
don't go trying to play the violin.
I'm not playing the violin. I'm just saying.
That's what it feels like.
I'm just saying. No, I still want a bad run.
Well, that can change.
Well, it's changing now, isn't it?
Yep.
As of today.
Spring's here. Right, let's get it going. Welcome, everybody, to the Thinking Tackle Uncut Podcast. The usual 4 in attendance today, and we thought we'd do another Your Questions Answered. We've been getting loads of amazing questions sent in. I'm trying to save them sort of as we're going along, so we've always got them to jump back into. So I've saved a few to talk about, but the one person that has been out and actually caught a few fish is Damo. So I think we'll start with you. You went out, was it last week?
Yeah, I was going to go down the Syndicate on the Monday, but the big one got caught on the Sunday night, and well played by the chap who caught it.
How big?
£55.
You weren't saying that yesterday.
No, good angling by Danny.
No,
That
fair
was
play.
good. So me and the lad, it's half term, so we went to a different lake, one of my club lakes. Did the night. It was absolutely freezing. It was really cold, but it was warm during the days. To be fair, John Taylor, one of the guys we now sponsor, he's fishing over there and he was catching quite a lot of fish.
Here we go. We've got the first one up now. Lovely comment. How big's that?
I actually haven't seen these.
That's £34. That was the first one. So in the afternoon, it's sort of pretty classic spring conditions, really. I was fishing in the lee of the wind, near some reeds. The sun was beating down on it. It's not very deep, 6-7 feet, and they were showing. So that was just to a single pineapple
Of course it
cork
was.
ball.
You focused beautifully on your hat.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is crisp, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't done any self takes for so long. I completely forgot to set the little focus ring on it.
Ah, right.
So yeah, so and the other thing was, Elliot's got the intervalometer, which is like a remote control, and he thinks it's like a gun and a lightsaber all at the same time.
Yeah.
So he's waving it around going,
Oh, gotcha. That's looking good.
yeah.
9,000 pictures
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, lad. He was like really stressing me out with it.
Did a nice shot, though. Lovely
Yeah.
spring
I
sunshine.
like you to
looks
get
nice.
stressed over.
Yeah, nice fish that. So then, so we did the night. I had a 33 mirror in the morning, and then another 29, and Elliot had a 15-pounder.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wicked.
Both had one.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was
So-
really good.
So this season, Elliot has caught more than Tom.
Well, yeah.
That's quite good, and he's only
Have
been
you
for a
caught any
couple of
more,
hours.
Gal?
Yeah, but I've caught though, haven't
Yeah, but
I?
you-
You can't.
Yeah, that's a 29.
Oh, that's a nice
nice.
fish.
I like that carp.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is lovely.
Big slope
The
head.
photography got a bit better by then.
Yeah, look at that. That's a nice mirror, that. How old are these fish in this syndicate? Are they young? Are they old?
Yeah, they've got they went in at little fish, I think, and it's really thriving. So it's a fantastic little lake. It's got a lot of big fish in it.
I feel like there's a few of them cropping up again now.
Yeah.
Do you feel like we went for a bit of a bad period of lakes, and now everywhere's starting to get really decent?
Absolutely.
Really decent. The fish are really first class condition.
How many 40-pounders are in there?
6, I think.
Yeah, see, there's lots of that
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, but how many 30-pounders are in there?
Yeah.
60.
Yeah.
That's the thing now, isn't it? Like you're saying, Tom, that
Club
that
lakes
old
and
of it's got one that can do 40 the right time of year. Now there's 10 that can do 40 at the right time of year.
Yeah.
Like, there's loads of them about now.
Yeah.
It's a big carp in this country, isn't there?
Yeah, loads. More than there's ever been before, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
How many
it's a lovely
60-pounders are there now?
There's quite a few, I think.
It's a good question. I don't know. Perhaps someone shove that in the comments. I wouldn't know. There's a lot, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's much more than you'd think.
Yeah. I saw a thing in Carpology basically asking where the next record cup was going to come from. And I don't think any of them lakes... There was maybe 2 that could do it. Yeah. But there is another lake which has done a real massive carp.
You've probably got a ticket, haven't you?
No, I haven't. No, it's down in the West Country. But I reckon that'll be the first proper 70-pounder.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every year now, I feel like somebody shows you something like an upper 50 common or something. You go, where's that?
Yeah.
And they go, I can't say, but... And you feel, how many of them are about that we don't really know about?
Josh done it to me yesterday, actually, just showed me one. It's like 50-pounder or something. Maybe the one that Cole caught. Cole Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that? Big, long, scaly thing. Looks like a new penny. Like a
From the
lovely
Park
looking...
Lake?
Yeah, I didn't know about
I
that.
don't know
Did you
about
know
that.
about
No, I didn't.
Only when Cole caught it.
Oh, right,
that's
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a 50-pounder.
Amazing.
Should we say that? Has he said that?
I don't know. I think you
I don't
probably
think
has.
it's 50 when Cole
40
caught
I
it.
think.
I think it was a 40 when Cole caught it.
All right.
Yeah. I think
All the
it's
members
grown
are
on.
now going, oh,
No, I think
it's
he's already
50.
I think he's already put a post up, hasn't he? I think he's already put a post up about it. I don't know. If he hasn't, sorry, Cole.
Yeah, we're
Nobody's listening.
We're currently living very nervously because it's the 16th of April. We've been told to timestamp.
Oh
these
yes,
things,
well
so
done,
people
Tom.
know.
Well remembered.
And we're starting to film the underwater as of Monday, Tuesday next week.
Yeah.
So we've got 6 nights, and the big and still that big fully still hasn't been caught at the manor. So we're like, and the weather's just so good now. It's like it's gonna come out any moment. If we manage to get past this week, and then we're filming for the underwater next week with it having not been caught yet, all spring, winter and spring.
Yeah.
It's like the lot. You fancy your chances,
Yeah.
even with my current form.
Spooner, that's a proper pass on not catching a UK 50 if you
Just
can
go
winkle
straight
that
with
one
a
out.
60.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
no problem on the 50
I have
anymore.
thought that. Don't worry.
It'll be
There will still be
incredible.
grief about not having a 50.
Yeah.
Well, especially him. Won't be able to help
mate, you can
himself.
fill him in behind, can't
Yeah.
you? Catch
Yeah,
him.
true. Yeah.
We're also going to, it's worth saying it, we're going to do our best to try and do the next podcast there, aren't we, actually, in the underwater tent?
Yeah.
If
Come
it
down.
works out, that's going to be really cool, that.
That will be cool.
Especially some stuff going on.
When would it be filmed then? Week
It'll
week
be the next
after
one,
then?
so it'd be not this Monday after, I would imagine.
No, but what filmed?
Yeah.
So okay, that's
And then
fine.
it'll come out the following Monday,
that
won't
could,
it?
Well, that could be the perfect time.
Yeah, it could
Yeah.
be.
Because we'll probably get. We could say we get down there Monday, Tuesday. We'll probably start filming Wednesday, Thursday, maybe, depending on whether the fish are coming in on the camera or not. And then the following Monday will be 3 or 4 days in.
You'll be in a nice routine.
Hopefully the cameras are out, the clarity is good, and we've seen the fish by then.
Yeah, amazing.
Might get a bite live on the podcast.
Imagine that.
It would
That's
be
a new
insane,
one.
wouldn't
The
it?
big one.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
Don't put that in.
Tom's got it on. I can't. Oh no, he hasn't. No, we don't want that.
Would that be the worst fishing moment ever, hooking the 60-pounder on the underwater camera and then
Possibly
losing it?
be, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it would be the most viral fishing video ever put out there.
What if you lose it?
Yeah,
I reckon there'd be quite a few memes.
yeah.
Yeah, there could be a few
God.
memes.
Did you see that one the other week that was going around with the common, the patch common or something from somewhere? I don't know where it's from. I think I showed Kev it in the office. There's a guy playing it in waders, and his mate's filming on the phone. And he goes, I can't believe it's my target fishing. Like, the excitement in his voice is unreal. And he goes, yeah, that's patch all right. And he's going, I can't believe it. And he's going,
Oh,
you
no.
watch it fall off now,
It's
and
there.
it literally goes, bing.
Oh no, I've seen it.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Not seen
I'll
that.
show you that, Dame,
Yeah.
after. It's like, you feel like you're there. You're like, oh, God.
Oh, it's
so
horrible,
bad.
isn't it? Have you had any
Heartbreaking.
really bad losses actually? That you know for 100% it was definitely that carp.
Well, the biggest all I've got is I remember the worst one for me was fishing. What's that water you Frining? I was fishing Frining in
Oh, yeah, you
December.
told me
I told
about
you the
that.
story before. Freezing on my own. The guy that owns it's always on site, and I was fishing zigs really long. I was fishing that first swim as you come into the bit where you couldn't
Hang on,
get rods
really
to.
long.
Yeah, it is
No,
quite long, isn't it?
16
Right
wraps.
over the you fish right over the back to like a no fishing area.
28 wraps?
Maybe something like that.
Yeah.
This was zigs though. This was zigs. And I was fishing 3-foot zigs, black foam. No one had caught for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I was sitting there, rod went. I'm thinking, oh my God.
Just Spooner's not having any of this.
Right, I'm all for glamorising a story,
Well,
but you're saying it's in December and no one's caught for weeks.
They
and
hadn't
weeks.
caught for weeks.
So
It was
since
freezing.
October on frying in. No one's
Hold
had
on,
a bite.
I didn't say 2 months, did I? I said
weeks and weeks and weeks.
That's at least 6.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right, I'll rephrase
October.
it. No one had caught for a little while.
Right, okay.
All right? No one had caught for a little while. I didn't expect to catch. Sitting there with 2 bits of
I
black
get that.
foam at the end.
I get
Yeah, obviously. Off it went. My surprise. Anyway, I played this fish gingerly for I don't know how long, like a long time.
Is this a long story?
No, don't worry, I'll get there. It's quite funny at the end. And I'm playing it for, and I know it's a big fish because it was full of big uns, and it's going up and down in front of me, and I never got to see it. I couldn't even get it to come up. Every time I tried to get it, it would just go back down again. It fell again. And then the owner come up behind me, and he used to put a lot of stuff on the social media page for the fishery, and he's got his mobile out, and I couldn't hear him. I wasn't looking. I was just concentrating, thinking if I get this in, it's gonna be unreal. It's freezing cold. It's gonna be a big one. And
You were already thinking of the social media likes, weren't you?
No, I'm thinking of him. I could hear him behind me going, "Here we are. It's Adam Reed. He's got one on. He's finally done a bite. The old lake. It's woken up, and he's got one on. And hopefully we're going to get." And I'm thinking, "Please stop filming. Please stop filming." And it's just going up and down, up and down. And he goes, "It's going to be one of the big ones, mate. They're all due." And I'm going, "Yeah, I think it probably is." And then all of a sudden it just went boink, and just hook pulled, not cut off, nothing. It just literally hook pulled. And he went, "You'll have another one." Little tap on the shoulder.
Didn't catch another one, did you?
Didn't catch another one. No, I sat there dooming. But yeah, that's it. I've never got to see it, but that is like the worst one that lives with me, that one.
No good.
Right, should we get on with some questions then?
Yep.
Okay, right. The first one we've got is, which I thought was a really good question actually. How do you deal with lakes that are peggy? Certain swims will always do the bites while others hardly do any. Do you guys ever take on the swims that do no bites, or will you wait for one of the good swims to come available, or just go to another venue?
I was just going to say, you like a bit of pegging, don't you?
Yeah, but that wasn't the question. I was going to lead on from that. So yeah,
Taken by surprise.
yeah. Yes. So I thought it was a really good question because obviously there is always lakes that the point's the flyer, the end swim's the flyer. There's always them swims that do the bites. That's got Damo in it. He loves that.
Laughing at his own
Yeah,
joke.
he's been practicing that a week. And yeah, I thought, and it's one of those things. We always want to get in the good swim, but do we wait, you guys, and wait for it to become available? Will you go to another venue, or will you take on one of them swims that does hardly any bites?
I don't know. I always try and get in the good swim. Yeah, I'll try and time it. If it is actually true that that's the only swim worth getting in, I'll try and time it that I get in there. That either when the guy's leaving, I'll speak to people, make sure I try and get there when you can. But it's very rare that it's only one swim and there's no point in going in anything else.
No, he's saying like there's always good swims and swims that do hardly any bites. So obviously, it's just if the lake's sort of sown. When you go to a busy lake nowadays, the good swims are normally sewn up, aren't they, on like day tickets or heavily fished venues?
Yeah.
So it's like, I suppose what they're saying is, would you just hover around and wait for that person to go, or just if you've only got 48 hours, just jump straight in any old swim and try and make it happen?
I think you've, for me personally, I haven't got enough time to sod about. So if the going swims are gone, I'm not going to another lake because I can only really concentrate on one lake at a time. So you've just got to make the best of it. I mean, you do have, there are periods of the year where there are certain areas which do more bites than others, but if you can get in them, that's great. But I go fishing to fish the lake to try and catch the fish, and if I can't get in that area, I'll try and get in the next best thing, or try and make something happen. That's all you can do, isn't it?
But before that as well, I'll try and pick a lake that isn't so swimmy like that. I actually felt a little bit like that with Carthagena, the main lake. I really I love the lake and I love the fish in there, but it does get a little bit peggy, and it means that you can't. Sometimes you go down and you don't really feel like you've got much of a chance, and then over a year I didn't enjoy fishing it because of that reason. Yeah. But now I fish a lake where there's loads of options all of the time. So no matter even if I go down the North Lake now and there's 8 people on, I still feel like I could get into a swim and have a chance of a fish. So try and pick a venue that's not super peggy, I guess.
I suppose it's obviously we've talked about it before on the podcast. People go fishing for different reasons as well, don't they? Like somebody like yourself, Tom, and you, Damo. Maybe not so much you, Spoons. You get to do a little bit more probably. If you've not got loads of time and you're going to go fishing, if it's not going to be happening for you or not going to happen, you'd probably be more inclined to not bother, almost like you're just saying about Carthagena. You're not going to go down there and jump in a swim that you know you're not going to catch in, are you?
No, I don't just sit there.
No, whereas some people will just think, I'm glad to be out. I'm not at my job. I'm going to chill out. If I catch, I catch. If I don't, I don't. But people go fishing for different reasons, don't they?
Yeah, but there was always the fish are always feeding somewhere on the lake, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? And if it is a trip where you can't get in the go and swim, and if you're just starting to fish there, you need to learn the lake as well, don't you? So I'd still go. I'd still have a go.
Yeah. What about you, Spoons?
Yeah, I've got nothing different to really add. I don't do so much of that. I haven't done so much of that target type fishing anymore, but I would, if I was going for my overnight or a week, if the swim I fancied was taken, I wouldn't go home. I'd still fish somewhere. I still want to try and get a bite.
If for an overnighter, and that's, of course, you just want to get out. But if you've got 3 nights and you go down there and all 4 or 5 of the best swims are taken, and you know that none of them are coming free, then maybe you should reschedule. I don't see a problem in that.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a night, then you just set up and you flick them out and you have a cup of tea, go to sleep. It's nice, isn't it?
I suppose that's the good thing as well about like keeping your kit fairly compact and being up and ready to go at a drop of a hat, isn't it? Because the lakes are all cycling, aren't they? So if you can get in that swim at some point during your session, it can be the difference, can't it? Even if you've only got the last night and a bit of the last morning, if you go and swim, make the effort.
The thing I've noticed is that because I only fish during the week he's getting really busy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's no real advantage to being a midweek angler now.
No, it's like everybody's out.
Yeah, yeah. My syndicate actually on the rota, the midweek is miles busier than the weekend.
Especially now,
for me.
I think, where a lot of people haven't fished all winter, and as soon as that sun comes out, carp anglers come out as well. And in the spring, when the weather's right, they're arguably at their easiest to catch, aren't they?
Yeah.
And arguably they're swimming around the lake more than ever before.
There's nothing worse than that, is there? Going in the week and there's loads of people down, you're like, what's he doing there?
Have you got a job?
Well, you're here. Yeah, but it's one off for me. You're always here. It's horrible, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's one of the rules I like is the 48-hour or 72-hour rule in each swim.
Yeah.
I hate rules on lakes, but that I think is a fair one for the working man.
Yeah.
It means that you buy a ticket and you can fish. You've got a chance of getting in them good swims.
Yeah.
But whereas when you haven't got them rules on lakes, it's like you get people just and it's fair play to them. Like if that's what they want to do with their life, great.
Yeah.
But it's annoying for you when you get down. You're like, still can't get in there, or I can't do that. It's like squashes your fishing.
Yeah.
But
I've had that on some waters where you go home on the Sunday or whatever, and the person's in there, and then you go back on the Thursday, and he probably hasn't stayed that whole time, but he's in there again. You're like, he hasn't gone home. He's just living down here. It's only 48 hours. How come he's back down here?
Yeah.
Yeah, but some people just got more time, haven't they? Well, good that. Right, next one. When fishing a small club lake with lots of members, how would you guys go about trying to stand out in the crowd? I fish a very much boilie-dominated water with loads of big bream and a crazy amount of rudd. Go on, Damo. How would you go about standing out in that situation? Busy club water, dominated by boilie, and you want to do something a little bit different.
With loads of rudd.
With loads of rudd, which takes away probably your first answer.
Use big boilies, like 24s or something.
Yeah, just
that will sort out the rudd. But when we used to particle fish, there was a lake we used to fish called Garrison, and you put peanuts out, and the rudd would just come along and suck them into their face, and then you just see them just swimming off.
I've seen that at Gigantica
Yeah.
with 20 mil boilies.
Using peanuts at Gigantica, mate.
Boilie. Back in the day, used tigers. I remember fishing the stink swim, and the swim
With
to the
peanuts.
right had been, loads of them, had been shut, but it was like a bit of a tree line. So you could go and sit in, I'd chuck some boilies in, go back to the swim. When I went back half hour later, they've all gone. Oh, wow, I'm going to get to see one of the big ones coming in. Did it 2 or 3 times, and every time I went back, they were gone. So one time I decided they were going so quick, I'm just going to sit in the tree. Yeah. And it was rudd coming in, doing exactly what you're saying with 20 mil boilies.
Yeah,
just hoovering it up, swimming off.
Staying on that though, Damo, it's a good point. How many people nowadays do you see using a massive boilies?
Not many.
No.
Regan's like that. He uses 24s and bigger.
Yeah.
When I went to Welly and used some, what was I using? 24s, I think it was. And I was baiting up with a throwing stick, and the seagulls were like bombing me to death. But after about 5 minutes, they just get bored of trying to eat them, or they get full up. I don't know, but they just left me alone after that.
Harder boilies than normal, or just
no? Well, they were frozen, but they just left me alone after a bit, and they make the job easy, don't they? Like, big, I remember fishing in France with big uns. Kev did me some 24s for that Sauce Common, and they were just, you're fishing at like 80 yards, I suppose, with a throwing stick. It just makes the job easy. Yeah. It doesn't matter what the wind's blowing, they're going out there.
Yeah. I do think, because whenever I go on the European trips, my standard rig would probably be spinner setup with 2 20 millers, like one wafter, one hard bottom bait just to take the weight out a little bit, and then you're only really fishing for the same sort of size carp, just more of them. And then you come home and go, oh, get me a little 12 miller back on, a little size 10 and all that, and you think, I don't know why you don't just adopt that here. I don't know why we don't.
No.
Yeah, Regan. When I talked to Regan about it, he thinks we're all mental using 16 millers or 15 millers. He's using big baits. He said. So last week he rang me out. He went, he said he never believed what's happened. I said I fucking fell off my bed chair. He fell off his bed chair, a 3-legger, gone out the back of the bivvy, broke the thing, right? Had a bite, tripped over, fucking lost the fish. Then this week, and he started tying a rig and set fire to himself.
Jesus Christ!
Like, so he's like his salopette things that we sell. He's melted all the leg and all that. I mean, how'd you do that? But and then to that this morning, I'm talking to him on the way in, and he went casting with Terry Edmonds last week with another guy called Keith Gillins, one of the originators of the hair rig, and they went down there and. He's got his free spirit, but Terry's picked it up and gone, I'll have a cast of that. He went, don't hit it too hard. Boom! No. It just exploded first chuck.
Oh, no.
So now,
to be fair to Terry, though, he can break any rod.
Yeah, breaks everything, doesn't he? So Regan's ended up with a set of Kais and greens. So he's christened them this morning with a 45-pounder.
Of course he has.
Where's he fishing now then?
He's fishing a lake in Cambridge.
Oh, right. Oh, I know, yeah.
Full of
private
pigeons.
number.
Yeah, but he does get them, Regan. Though,
he does.
He catches
half
loads.
lose them though.
He does lose them, but he also catches loads, doesn't he?
Yeah. He gets more chances than last week. He said, I had this bite. He said, I picked the rod up, and he said it felt like a real good one, like proper gone over. And and he says, coming in, I was thinking. He said his old legs were shaking, which he's caught a lot of big fish. And for his legs to be shaking, he's either having some sort of fit or he's got big enough. He's probably shit himself. Yeah. But he's got it halfway in, a bit like you, and the old hook popped out. Oh. And then he was playing another one in, and he see it, and it's like, it was a big 40, and it just come off at the net. Oh.
He's from a different school of thought, isn't he, Regan, about carp fishing in general? So I always have it out of him when we talk, because he always talks. He obviously got very good bait, isn't he? His boilies are amazing, and he's just like, he puts lots of boilies in until the point where the fish are looking for him, and then he gets to just fish boilies wherever they are.
And he catches them.
And if you're as consistent as an angler as he is, like you're going down there a lot, that is a great way of fishing that.
What's he doing? 2 or 3 nights a week?
Yeah, 2 to 3 nights a week. He's got his bait established now. There's some good anglers on there. Jim the Stroke Buller's on there.
Yeah.
Jim.
Why is Jim called a Stroke Buller?
Hate me for saying that. The Stroke Buller's on there. So he's had 10 bites and Regan's had 9 this year, and Regan's landed 8, I think. And Jim's landed all of them. So he's got a pretty.
So he's one
right.
Yeah. But that's going back to the question that you asked. Maybe that's the thing to do, is to get the fish on you.
Yeah,
if really you can only fish bait, get a really good bait, get it established, and then outwork everyone else. That's all you can do.
Stay patient with that sort of thing, isn't it? A lot of people think you go a couple of sessions in and you think they're not eating it. It's not always the case, is it? Like you said, keep it going in. Yeah, and one day it will just turn on.
It'll tick. It'll come on, won't it?
I don't think you need to put loads out. I think
it's regularity.
It's regularity, definitely.
Yeah, that's why pre-baiting, when you can get away with it, is so effective, isn't it? Yeah. If you can pre-bait, it's the equaliser, isn't it? Without a doubt.
It's a game changer.
Yeah. I remember years ago when we fished the Stowe, like Nicky Onslow used to come down. This is when I was like 15, 16. Used to fish sort of similar sort of areas. Sort of most evenings he'd come down as an evening angler. Just put a kilo of like probably mainline at the time, probably Pulse or Fusion or something. I think it was Fusion actually. And because the fish were seeing that kilo like most evenings, he would get bites every single evening on it. And he's just fishing a bottom bait on a long hook link. Yeah, like that's a great way of fishing if you've got the time to go down and do it.
So maybe finishing on that. So maybe larger boilies, try and combat the rudd and the bream, and get it established. Keep it going in regular. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. Next one is we get asked this all the time. So I thought I'd chuck it in. It's not something we hide away from, but touch wood, it doesn't happen loads. And that's, how many failed shoots on average do Korda have a year? And are there lots of sessions that never make YouTube? Would be great to see a behind-the-scenes series, which is something we've talked about quite a lot, about doing a bit more of the behind-the-scenes stuff.
I mean, you probably have more failed shoots than
Louis going to say
You're
that.
probably the one to answer the question.
I'm actually.
How many have we had?
We've never had a failed shoot, I don't think.
Neither have I.
Okay.
Ever.
No. I think we right. It comes down to planning a lot of the time. We put all of the eggs in our basket when we go. We make sure that we're on the right moon.
Yep.
Tomaker. We make sure we're on the right moon. We make sure we've got good swims. Like we organise it properly. We very rarely just go on a whim, unless we go into a lake that we know really well, and we're sort of in the vibe of the lake and we know we're going to go down and do it. So they're all organised really well. If for some reason it doesn't happen while we're there, which it almost always does, we still put the film out anyway, even if we've had a small result. If we've only caught one or two, so you can see the fail. But I think I can think of 2 shoots that we haven't put out. One was carp last year with Dan and.
Yeah, and that one's worth saying. That was obviously the planning side of that was still done, but you can't always control the weather, can you? And that they didn't know it was going to be that cold. I think it went to like -7.
Yeah, but it's like the January or something they went.
I think it was November they went.
Oh, was it November?
Yeah, and I think
November.
obviously it was just an unusual.
Was it December?
Was it November, Kev? It was November, because Kev was on it.
That's unseasonal.
Snowing.
Yeah, it's cold, but I don't book shoots in November, December.
No,
just because I know that there's a risk there. Obviously, you could, like Dan's book shoots in January at Gigantic and had the best trips ever.
Yeah.
So it's just higher risk and higher reward if it actually happens. But we do 4 or 5 really long shoots a year, me and Spoon, and we do lots of little ones in between. And we just make sure that we go at a decent time of year on a good lake and don't fail.
I think that's a good. Yeah,
just don't fail.
Just don't fail. Yeah, don't fail.
It's a good, like you were saying, the planning, the preparation side of it, that fail to prepare to fail thing. That can carry over to here, can't it? Like people are going to go at the weekend. If they don't make no effort to organise anything or make sure they've got all the right kit or make sure they've got the zig stuff, make sure they've got the particle, make sure they've got whatever it needs for that water. A lot of people just chuck the gear in the van on a Friday and go, don't they? But like you said, you can put a lot more things in your favour if you are prepared. Make a big
depends
difference.
what you want out of your fishing, doesn't it?
It does.
Lots of people just go fishing to relax, and they don't want anything from it.
No.
They just want to get away from the missus or the kids, or work, and just sit by the side of the lake. And there's nothing more therapeutic. Than waking up to a dawn.
Bird singing.
Chorus, yeah.
I say that from somebody who's learnt the hard way though, where I have gone before and not taken my zig kit or not taken my floater kit or something and gone, I would have caught one. Like if I'd have had that here now, I would have caught one.
Yeah, you've got to have all the kit in.
You've got to have everything organised.
To be fair, that underwater film we released, which we weren't going to release, where you really took the piss out of Dan.
Yeah.
That was a failure, wasn't it?
We at the time we saw it as a failure because we only caught one, and we had this. I was really the one that pushed to put that film out. Cause I saw it as a success, really. One big fish, and it's very, very difficult, and there's a great story there. And like Sean is so good at the edit, it's like you could give him a load of shit and it'd come out, something would come out good.
That's how he makes Spoon.
I was waiting for a comment.
But Dan sort of saw it that Dan sees that as a learning exercise, which is what we all see it as. Yeah. But at the same time, if you don't get that out of it because you don't catch loads of fish, there's still loads of amazing footage there. So sometimes the failures are as funny as or as good as the successes. So
we want to see that, don't they?
It's entertaining, isn't it?
Yeah. Or if we, I think Stokesy and Daryl went to
Spain.
Yeah. What is it called? Boquerón in Spain.
Oh yeah, that's one that jumped at me as well.
And that was one that was a failure. They had 2 bites, lost them, and I still think that we should have put that film out, or at least if maybe me and Spooner will go, or maybe Daryl and Stokesy will go again. We've still got all of that footage there to use as part of a larger story.
We should go there.
Sorry,
we should go.
We should definitely go there.
Yeah.
But they probably went. They probably had the wrong. I spoke to Stokesy about it, and I think they probably had the wrong swims at the wrong time of year.
Yeah.
They were doing really good swims, but for the autumn and on them big lakes, it makes a big difference. So hopefully they go back and you see part of the failure, but hopefully it ends up in the success, and then people get to watch that as one whole film.
Damo's itching to say.
What are you going to say?
I was just thinking, I've completely forgotten about what you was doing last week. So you have caught some fish, didn't you?
Huh? Yeah, no, I've caught some fish. Yeah, but I didn't want to ruin the.
All right.
Yeah. So if you listen to the last podcast, I think we referenced that you can't say anything, Damo, you'll ruin it.
I'm not going to.
I know you want to ruin it, but you can't.
No, I'm not going to ruin it.
All right. Obviously, you guys mentioned that you were going out and having the match with Ringer and Godfrey.
Yeah.
That's obviously happened now, and obviously we'll cover that when the film comes out. But it sounded bloody brilliant.
Yeah,
and really funny.
Really
good.
Really
Yeah.
good couple of days.
So I'm looking forward to talking about that and dissecting that.
Yeah,
It's gonna be good.
the maddest things happened on that shoot.
Yeah.
So we'll talk. Like I said, we'll talk
About
it
next time.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Right, moving on to the next one. How would you guys go about approaching a lake where a quarter of it is out of bounds? So obviously a large area of the lake not fishable.
So late at night.
Yeah. This would be one for Damo with the bait boat,
Balaclava.
probably. Go on, Damo. First of all, have you fished a lake where large amounts of it are out of bounds? Whether it be a nature reserve or...
Well, look, you had a case in point with a lake you referenced earlier at Fryening. That area that you were fishing, so you had a big area down the end that was out of bounds. You weren't allowed to go and fish around there. The fish lived in there, and everyone that caught the fish out of there and caught them consistently was in that one swim, fishing as tight to that area as you possibly could. I think arguably that is the way you're going to be the most consistent, is fishing as close to the out of bounds as you can be, because that's where the carp spend a lot of their time. They certainly did on Fryening.
Yeah.
I think that's normal on most lakes, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
They're away from the angling pressure. So the only thing you could do, it comes back to bait.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to bait an area where they're coming back. That takes effort. That takes, that's expensive.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only thing I could think you could do without breaking the rules.
Yeah. I think just to add to that, take it a bit further. I've fished on some lakes like it, and I certainly know of some lakes where they're just so big you can't use a boat. So obviously it's not out of bounds as such, but obviously you just can't reach them.
Yeah.
And there's
inaccessible.
I know a lake in Essex where it's like a limited lead size and stuff like that. But the trouble is, all people do is they fish to their absolute maximum, don't they? And just keep pushing them away, rather than everyone start fishing a little bit closer with bait and bring the fish back from the depths. People just go longer and longer, don't they? And just try and fish further and further.
Well, because that's always going to happen, though. You're never going to get away from that.
But if everyone was on the same wavelength...
Yeah, but they don't.
There's always that one who's thinking, right, well...
That's me.
That's you, yeah.
Well, that's you. That's everyone. It's
Yeah.
like if everyone starts fishing short and they're at 80 yards and not 40, you can't not fish at 80 yards.
No.
And then you're not going to not fish at 120.
Well, he isn't, is he?
No, you're not 120, no.
Not tidy.
Super long, maybe like 105 or something.
We're having a cast off soon, I'll tell you that much.
You're actually a really good caster. I don't even know where it's come from.
No, it's like anything in it. Once it starts happening in this podcast, that's gospel, isn't it? I now can't fish over 15 wraps, and that's that.
You can't.
That's what the whole world
Not
thinks.
actually, anyway.
That's what the whole world think. Okay, so we haven't. So basically, what you're saying is just fish as effectively as you can to that area before it goes out of bounds, I guess.
Yeah,
so as close
I
to that
think
out of
so.
bounds area, yeah.
If it's clear they're spending that much time there,
There is no
Fishing.
magic answer, is there?
No.
I mean,
I think it
and
frustrates
unless-
some people though, doesn't it? Because they get there and they're a fisher in the out of bounds. You think, how are they ever going to come out? Why are they ever going to come out?
That is the thing I was going to say, is that there might be the out of bounds on that lake might be deep part. I don't know. And in the spring they might come out of that because they want to go to the shallow part, so then only fish that lake when they're probably not so much in the out of bounds. But it's like, I would just not fish lakes like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like you haven't got that much time, have you?
Yeah.
Just in general, like you haven't got many summers or many autumns.
No,
It's
you
like,
haven't.
No, but you haven't though. Have you?
No,
I'm not
you
being-
haven't.
I'm
You're
not
right.
being- I'm not being deep. I'm just saying.
I
Like,
keep seeing those memes all the time now I'm getting older. Enjoy it. You've got 37 summers left on average for your age. And I'm like, well, have I? It's summer now, so I've got 36. Shit. It's horrible, isn't it?
No, but I mean, it's like you should really pick venues that just suit your time and your fishing.
yeah.
I've done it before where I've wasted time on places where it's just like, this isn't going to happen unless I could sit here 5 days a week, and I give up on them.
Yeah.
And go and fish somewhere where you've got lots of opportunities and there isn't loads of rules and there isn't big out of bound areas.
Yeah.
Like, just go and fish places that are fun.
Yeah.
Like,
I think a case in point for yourself is some of the Walthamstow lakes.
Yeah.
You know when the conditions are perfect, so that's when you do 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And you'll leave it for 6 months probably.
yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
way.
don't waste time when it's shit.
Yeah.
And if it's always shit on the lake because of an out of bounds, don't fish that lake.
Put everything in your
That's
favour.
how I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Or cheat and get in the out.
Yeah,
Get in the
yeah.
out of bounds.
If I wasn't known, I would definitely just fish the out of bounds.
Yeah. A lot of people would. Okay, right. Next one. How do you guys personally deal with long runs of blanks? Tom? This is perfect for you.
I'll get
Absolutely
on a podcast,
perfect.
tell everyone about it, get loads of abuse.
Yeah.
How do you deal with loads of lakes?
Yeah, because obviously it's not nice, is it? And
No,
it,
it's just carry on go, mate. It's fishing, isn't it? It's just the way it is.
yeah.
You're only getting closer to your next bite, aren't you?
It does make it, weirdly, it does make it more and more rewarding, doesn't it? I think, like say, if you can just keep that pressure up and keep going and not worry about not catching.
Try and not lose your mind. That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's the same as what we always say in shorter sessions, is that if you haven't had a bite but you know you're sort of doing things right, don't start changing everything, because then when the good time comes around, you've got some weird mad rig on and you lose the opportunity.
What is your longest?
No.
You're talking about mad rigs and people losing their heads.
Yeah.
Just a couple of people just popped in my head.
Yeah.
Where you guys personally though, what's the sort of, if we start with you, Damian, can you record a longest run of a blank on a syndicate or something?
I think you've got to be realistic to what your expectancy is of catching. So, probably Savay, mate, because my time was so limited. I could do a night, and overnight you're talking about like it's a fairly big old pond, not that many carp in it, and you know if you don't see anything, it's hard to make a decision. So you've got like with fishing at Savay, it was like, I guess my mindset was that I've caught enough carp in the past, and it doesn't matter about the blanks. It doesn't actually matter how big the fish are in this lake, because I just want to catch them, whether they're £20, £15, or £45. You know, they're all equal, because they're the carp that the lake they're coming from. And you know, I had seasoned blanks over there. You know, and you just take it on the chin.
And how many nights would you say that was roughly, or can you remember like a worse year or?
Like 20 nights.
Yeah, that's a long time in it without a bite.
Over a season.
Over a
as well.
season.
Yeah.
Over a season.
It feels longer as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you're only,
Yeah.
you know,
I had a
it's
couple of
long
years, like season blanks over there, because you need time. You need like 3 nights. You make your decision. If you make a wrong decision, you can move, you know, and then you might make an opportunity. But in, you know, and it's getting to know a lake, like a big lake like that. It's a moody old pond, and once you learn it and then you work it out, in the end, you know, caught loads. But
When you're on a long run of blanks like that, are you constantly changing, or are you keeping everything exactly the same and keeping your head?
I'm not changing anything, because I want the variable. The only variable is me. Right, so I know that my rigs work, I know my bait works. I've got to put it in the right spot at the right time and get an opportunity. If you start losing your head with changing rigs because you think, mate, he's caught one on a hinge stiff and I'm fishing it on the bottom, it doesn't work like that. You know, you've just got to stick to what you know. And you know, watercraft and in your variable, you're the one who's making the decisions. If you're making the wrong decisions, you're not going to catch anything. So yeah, just got to stick to what you know, and then the fish will come in the end, don't they? Once you work it out.
I think you have to. Damon's 100% right, I think, but you also have to just be able to assess whether, like, Damon's fishing a very difficult lake, and he's very confident in what he does. So that's the right mentality for that lake. Whereas if somebody out there is fishing somewhere that's very easy, they're in the best swim and they've been in it for 3 days and they haven't caught anything and the fish are all over them, then you know it is time to think maybe I'm doing something wrong. But it's only their ability to assess whether it's what they're doing or not. But it's very hard to say.
Yeah, that's
time for time. It's like it's impossible for us to say, well, you're doing it wrong and you're doing it right. So you need to stay what you.
And you need to change.
And you need to change.
Yeah.
But a good angler is able to assess what's going on in front of them. If there's some patterns or there's something wrong, and they're not getting them, and everybody else is, you know, maybe they need to change what they're doing.
Going on.
But you need to just see what's going on in front of you.
It can be like, you know, like Tom's saying, if you've got fish in your swim and you're getting activity and nothing's happening, then of course you've got to change things.
Yeah.
I've had it before where I was fishing at the start of the spring. I was getting liners all night. I was fishing about 50 yards out, and long shot. And you're just like, what is going on? So I wound the rod in, and the only change I made was to change the colour of the plastic. I had a boilie and a bit of plastic. It was flavoured, actually. I think I had squid and octopus that they were soaked in, and I put a fruit one on. Recast it, got a bite instantly, and then I changed the other one, and that session changed from catching nothing for the first 24 hours to catching like 25 fish in the next 24 hours.
Was this Mercer's?
No, this was the quarry, the old quarry.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be a quarry.
And it was, you know, it was a mental session.
Yeah.
But those little tiny changes that seem so insignificant can make a massive difference.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But that only comes from experience, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so you're changing from something that you know works to something that you also know works.
Yeah.
You're not putting some mad stuff on.
Yeah. I think we've all been guilty of that over the years as you come up, like you say, because it takes learning and working out what's going on. But when you are learning and coming up and maybe a less experienced angler, the thing to do immediately would be probably for most people to find out what mate he had his one on over the other side and immediately, well, I better put yellow on then, or I better put a chod on or whatever.
Yeah, there is that. The yellow thing, in the spring, it's definitely a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, without a doubt. Okay, great. Right, moving on. This one's quite topical, actually, for here at the moment, and it's great to see a lot more ladies messaging in on the podcast, which means there's a lot more ladies getting into fishing.
You're not talking about him again, are they?
Yeah, they're talking about him again. They love him, don't they? See, you had just before we go on that question, you half have a good fan at the old show, didn't you? That lady that come up to you right at the beginning, she loved him.
They all love him.
Yeah,
all the women come up and they go like that and walk straight past me.
Yeah. Oh no, she loved him.
Did she?
Yeah. And I went straight over to Scott Sweetman and I went, God, that was awkward. You see his ex go over to him? That's not his ex. No, it wasn't.
But even my missus likes spoon more than she likes me.
Why would you not? This one said, what advice would you give to young aspiring lady anglers who are worried about getting judged for their lack of skill to start with? So she loves the podcast and she's listening to it while she's studying for her GCSEs. Now, the reason I say it's quite topical is because we've got a couple of ladies that work here in accounts that have just started fishing. They've just started their own little Instagram called Gills and Gals, and they've just got into fishing and done a video with the Guru lads.
2 crackers they had to finish with. You enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Really impressed with you both. They've both done really, really well. Well done.
Mega.
Thank you.
When are we going next?
Tomorrow? I really enjoyed it. I'm even asking Hannah, when can we go out again next? So hopefully it'll be the start of something.
I definitely will come back and do this style of fishing. Me and Ashley have been asking to do it for ages, and now we've got a little bit of experience, so we'll go straight into it again.
Yeah. Which was really good. It's really sort of uplifting video of showing 2 people doing something for the first time. They've got really hooked on it, obviously so much so that they've started their little page and they're going again this Friday, I believe. So it just shows you've only got to go once. It's one of those things. These 2 have just gone for the first time and now they're absolutely hooked on it. But they're going to go back to where they've done their film, because obviously it's a nice, safe place to go to. And I suppose they're not going to get judged because it's the type of water where people do go to learn. So what advice would you give? I mean, sort of, I've covered it a little bit there. But
I was going to say, picking the right venue I think is a key thing. Yeah. You need to be, whether you're male or female, the question you get asked about, I'm just starting carp fishing or just starting fishing, where do I go? What do I do? I think you need to be going to places where it's almost guaranteed that you're going to catch something, because the only way you can learn is by actually catching. You can read everything, but if you read everything there was to read and went to Save for your first time, for argument's sake, you're not catching, are you? No. You need the venue choice is massive.
Yeah, they don't need to worry about it being girls or boys. It doesn't matter what's what. I think you just feel a bit like that anyway coming into something new. Yeah. So just like what Spoon said, just go somewhere easy. Yeah. And people will help you.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't be afraid to ask. I was a proper punisher as a kid.
Yes, and Leia, like we used to punish up
everybody.
Yeah. But it was good. Leia Pitts was a great example of kids going fishing probably when we were like 10, 11. And it was safe, and everybody just, it was just brilliant.
Yeah. I still remember that far back.
Yeah.
And like you said, 9 times out of 10 at them types of venues, there's going to be multiple people there for the first time, second time, third time anyway, isn't there? Because people are always going to them type of places when they're getting into something. Yeah. I think another thing, a lot, because some of the other questions we get are around safety and stuff, and I think some women, they worry about going and feeling safe, like in a pretty male-dominated environment. So again, pick the right venues. Don't go to somewhere in the middle of nowhere where you're not going to feel comfortable.
I think it can be intimidating. My missus used to fish in the matches, and she'd be the only female in 50 blokes, but there was never any problem. She was always looked after and that. No. But yeah, mate, just get out there and do it. To be honest with you, the first time I go onto some lakes, I do feel a little bit intimidated. Yeah. Because you think, how are people going to take you and all the rest of it. So.
Great, he's going to catch the big one in half an hour.
Not that. No, it's just like like you step onto a lake and you're learning it. Or, it must be the same for anybody who's just starting fishing. Just go out, and I think actually girl anglers are going to make better anglers than we are because they've got much more attention to detail.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think it's funny you say that about going onto a new water. It doesn't matter who you are, does it? When you're on a brand new syndicate, if you don't know nothing, you always feel like when somebody comes on, it's your syndicate, and they start thrashing up, and they're like, "Why is he casting out? There's nothing out there. What's he doing?" It's like you do all the new things that no one else is doing, don't you? Because they're all in their routine of knowing where the wraps are and where the spots are.
Yeah, sometimes that's a good thing, though.
Oh, without doubt.
it always happens that someone turns up and catches the big one straight away, doing casting somewhere where you just didn't think, and you're like, wow, how has that happened?
Yeah, he's got one. How's he got one?
Yeah.
The next time you go, I'm going out there. The other side.
Yeah, I'd say don't worry about being a girl or whatever it is.
No.
The fishing community, I think, are a really good bunch of people.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you go to the right lake and you're friendly, then people are going to be friendly back to you.
Well, that talk we did at the last show, Spoons, there was a lot of female anglers there.
Yeah,
doing the questions, weren't there? It amazes me, actually. It's not. I don't know if they're just getting, like you said, a bit more confidence coming into the sport, because obviously they're not just doing it, coming to them shows for the. Well, they might be coming for the first time. You can tell they're not. They've been going fishing by what they say when they talk to you. So I think it's great that they're coming into the sport, kids and
brilliant.
ladies.
I think if you look at Lauren Stanford, she's a fantastic example of someone. Doesn't matter whether she's a boy or a girl, she's just out there doing it, catching them, loving it, and she's really pushing the girl thing, isn't she?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's good.
on you.
I think the internet's probably opened it up to more kids and more girls. Because a bit before, it's quite hard. Like, how did a girl get into fishing before, especially unless their family sort of done it?
Yeah.
But now...
That was the only route, though, wasn't it?
But now the husbands or the sons or whatever are watching YouTube on the telly, and the girlfriends are looking in the background. And that's happening a lot, I think, now, which is good.
Well, there's a lot to like, isn't there? Like you say, if you take the fishing aspect, even the actual catching out of it, just being there, like you were just saying, Damo, watching the sun come up from laying on a bed from a bivvy with a kettle steaming away at this time of year, there ain't much better places to wake up, is there?
No.
In your bedroom, whacking your TV straight on in the morning. It's not really a...
I was going to say
You're going back to the pegging again, wasn't it? Still on my mind.
What you thought, mate?
Yeah, no. Forget that, we can delete that, Kevin. No, it's all right.
Sitting in your bedroom whacking off.
I didn't say that, did I? I did not say that.
You just said that.
I did not say that.
Mate, we're on a podcast.
You jumped on me.
You can't say that, mate.
Well, he cut me off at the perfect time. Jumping in his bedroom, whacked you out of That's fine.
That's the trailer.
He's going to cut that perfect, isn't he? I know he is. Fucking hell, Kev. Right, this question, and this will probably be the last one we do. Then we've got a little bit to do at the end. Josh, in our marketing department, just asked this one. He's somebody that mainly does overnighters as a rule. He tries to do 2 or 3 a week, I believe, when he's going spring, summer, autumn. And he said, would you guys trade 3 overnighters?
2 overnighters.
I've had one on though, because I actually think you could...
Oh, you're changing his question.
I'm changing...
Okay.
Well, no, because I did say to him when he was in here, because I said I think you could up the ante a little bit. He did say 2, but I said 3. 3 overnighters for one 24-hour session this time of year. So if you could go 3 nights a month...
What time are they?
How
quick are the overnighters?
We're reeling in for work. So we're reeling in at 6:30. We've got to go to work. So would you trade 3 of those for just one 24-hour session?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
And let's elaborate on why that is for people that don't know why that might be this time of year. Why is that such a important thing to have them daylight hours?
I think any sort of, like, it depends on the lake you're fishing. Some lakes are night dominated bites and some are day bites, or you can get both. It just depends on the lake you're fishing. But for me, I'd want 24 hours just so it's settled. You can get a bite. You can actually get something going, and you ain't winding in at 6 o'clock in the morning. That is the worst time to be going. Any time of year.
Yeah.
In the winter, it's freezing cold and shit.
Yeah, breaking a bivvy down in that weather is horrible. And I think this time of year, I always think that springtime, I always feel like I've got more chance of a daytime bite than I do a nighttime bite. So I'd much rather have the daytime if it's on offer.
Yeah. I'll tell you the biggest example of that I can remember back was when I was fishing on the Manor and I was on the road as a rep. When I used to do the night, I could hang around until about 9:30, but there was always people that were whipping them in the half light and going.
Yeah.
And those bites where I think one time I had a bite on the deck, one rod reeled in once. It's like literally that tiny little period.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have caught nowhere near as many, no doubt about it, if I couldn't hang around a little bit.
Yeah.
So it does make a huge difference in some waters, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. I mean, I've had periods where you're getting bites, you got something going, and bite time is 8 o'clock in the morning till 12. You know, and that is the only period of the day you're getting bites.
Yeah.
So you've got to be there during the day.
Yeah.
You know, so...
And that is the benefit as well of a full 24 hours. You can hopefully nail down when the bite times are coming, then you can angle around it where possible.
You seem to be thinking a lot there, Tom. Are you thinking that maybe are you on the same wavelength? Would you do the 24 hours?
Yeah, no, probably, yeah.
Was you thinking maybe not then for a minute?
No, I was just trying to play it all out properly. I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
24 hours is nice, isn't it?
3 of them and all.
Depends what time you're getting.
Sorry,
it depends what time you're getting there in the evening as well. Because if
Yeah.
you spread the 3 nighters out, you can be really in touch with it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. You speak to people on the way in and the way out, and you know what you're doing the next night. you could put bait out and get back the 2 nights after. Like if you were doing that consistently and you had the like will to do it, maybe it's better. But I think the lads are right. I think you need the whole 12 and 12.
Well, it is like you say, if they're not feeding, the three overnighters are absolutely pointless, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you are literally going. I mean, you hear stories all the time, don't you? Someone nicking one a year that does overnighters like this through the good period of spring, just because they can't be there for the day. I think Scott actually downstairs. I think he's on a sort of club water at the moment, and I think he's been doing overnighters, and I think he's started to have a few now. But he wasn't at first, and then he did a 24-hour with Ben to do some media stuff, and I think he had like 4 or 5 in the day.
Yeah.
And he was like straight away, he was like, "Oh, this is what I knew this was the case." Like from like 10 till 1, he was just getting churners. Like I think he lost one and had God knows how many.
Well, once you get to know what's going on, you can just angle around that, can't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to go down the lake at midnight because I knew the bite time was at 8 in the morning and get everything set up. Didn't even cast out till it got just light. Get the rods out, make the most of it, and then I've got that morning, and now I've got the 24 hours. Actually, gives me 2 mornings.
I was doing that at Raisby actually last year, not getting down quite as late as that, but getting down late in the evening, and then you've got the, sort of that first night that you sort of cancel as a bit of a dead one. If you get the rods out and you catch one, you think it's a bit of a like an addition, but then you've got 36 decent hours. That's nice.
It's actually a great time of year to do days, isn't it?
It is.
You haven't got a lot of time. It's a great time of year to just be doing day sessions early morning till the evening.
Well, didn't the guy that caught that big out of your leg, he just does days, didn't you seen?
Yeah, he's doing the night, but he's down there every day walking around, putting a little bit of bait in, so
properly in touch with it.
Again,
really,
in tune with it.
Good
angling.
Okay. Right, we'll leave it there, but one thing we do want to just mention at the end is the sad passing of a friend of all of yours and Korda, Simon. I know you've had the funeral this week.
Yeah,
we just wanted to touch on
we went to his funeral. Simon was like same age as me, 53. Cancer got him in the end, but since I've been working here for like 24 years or whatever it is, 23 years, and Simon is like was our principal supplier for plastic injection moulding stuff. So probably everyone who's used the Korda leg clip, a tail rubber, one of our spods or a baiting needle has used products that he's made for us.
Wow.
And I came into the business not knowing anything about engineering really, and Simon really taught me the ropes. Just a lovely guy. Taken far too soon. And I love to Sue and his 4 lovely children. He'll be really missed.
Yeah, well, what a lovely guy he is as well. Really, genuinely one of the
and that's always the bloody case,
like,
isn't it? Just all the decent
bollocks,
people seem to always get taken really early. I know it's because it jumps out in your mind because they're close friends of yours and stuff, but that seems to happen more and more. And I think it just highlights, doesn't it, how you need to be living your life, doing the things you want to do, and enjoy your family and your free time, because it can get taken away from you any second, can't it?
Yep. Absolutely.
That's why you don't fish lakes with big out of bounds on.
Don't waste your time
rest
doing
in peace, Osai. You're a fucking absolute gem.
Yeah, big love to the family, and thanks for everyone to listening. And don't forget to keep your questions coming in, because we are saving them all the time. And like I say, next time we're hoping we're going to be in the underwater tent, so it should be a different looking studio, and you never know, something mega could happen. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Good luck, boys.
Cheers.